Hi everyone! First, I apologize for not getting this to you yesterday, but as you can probably tell from my voice, I've been sick. I hope this hasn't delayed your work. As I said in the announcement, I wanted to share an overview of your final assignment so that when we meet one-on-one later this week, you'll be able to come with specific questions. So here we go. Project 3, your instructional plan, is designed to help you bring together everything you've learned in this course as a unit plan you could implement in your context. Because of time constraints, you are not expected to implement your plan this semester, but I hope you will have an opportunity to implement your unit with students in the future. And I'd definitely love to hear about it when you do. As we discussed in our first sync session, you will use the grand challenge you identified with your students in Project 1 as a center for this instructional plan. You will also be asked to include a piece of children's literature in your plan, which may be the book you used for Project 2, but it does not have to be that book. We will go over specific criteria later, but overall, I will be looking for the elements of high quality and equitable STEM lessons based on course readings, presentations, and discussions when I grade your project. To guide your planning, you'll be using the STEM Roadmap Planning template from Appendix C in your Johnson et al. Text. You will not submit this template, but instead will use it to guide the narrative portion of your project and to help you think through the details of planning a high-quality STEM unit. Let's look at the different parts briefly. The first few sections provide a big picture overview. This includes the major STEM roadmap theme and grade level, a brief summary of the unit, your overarching goals, and the grand challenge that will center your work. These 4 parts are shown here. Next, because we know we should start with the end in mind, you will list the content standards and practices that will focus your instruction. This should include major science and/or mathematics standards from your grade level. It also may include standards from other content areas. You should also include 21st century skills or the habits of mind and life skills students will develop in your unit. Page 244 of your Johnson text has an example of what the 21st century skills might look like. With the outcomes in mind, you will think about how you will launch the unit as well as what knowledge you expect students to come to with the unit with, what knowledge they will leave with, and how you will assess that knowledge. Finally, because we know STEM learning requires a team effort, you are also asked to think about what resources, in terms of people, technology, and materials, you will need to successfully implement your lesson. Again, the notes you put into your STEM roadmap template will help you write your narrative that will describe your overall unit. You will also submit lesson plans for each lesson in your unit. The STEM roadmap template includes a lesson plan template to help you, but you are also welcome to use a different lesson planning template if you have one you currently use. We can talk about this in our one-on-one meetings. Overall, I expect to see the key pieces shown here for each lesson, and remember, one of your lessons should center on a piece of children's literature. The rubric that will be used to grade your assignment can be found at the end of the project assignment description. You can link to this through the syllabus tab. Overall, I will be looking at 8 major elements. Your narrative should include discussion of all elements of the STEM roadmap planning template that we just went through, and should show integration of key ideas from course readings, presentations, and discussions. I want to be able to see that you have incorporated what you have learned into your planning. You should have a lesson plan for each lesson in your unit, which we just talked about. And your lessons and unit plans should represent the 5 core characteristics of integrated STEM education that can be found on page 25 of your Johnson text. Your learning outcomes should describe both what you want students to know or be able to do and how they will be demonstrating proficiency. Your unit will center on a grand challenge you and your students identified in Project 1, and one of your lessons will include a piece of literature that is relevant to your students and that provides a mirror, window, and doorway into content for underrepresented students in your context. Work students will be doing will require collaborative problem solving and will foster STEM and 21st century habits of mind. And finally, your assessment plan will include multiple types of measures and will assess learning at different cognitive levels, as we discussed last session. In summary, you will turn in the following: a narrative based on the STEM roadmap template, a lesson plan for each lesson, and, as appropriate, any supporting documents you think I need to see. I realize this was just a lot of information, which is why I want to meet with each of you this week. Also, know that this is all detailed in the assignment description. I look forward to talking with each of you later this week. In the meantime, please let me know if you have any questions, and happy planning!